Put it on backwards, didn't I?
You did.
This is gonna work. Cut!
We are Mike and Jeannie, and we restore old houses. In 2021, we moved to South Carolina and bought a 120-year-old Victorian house. Follow along as we put the polish back on this Victorian masterpiece.
We are so glad you're here with us today. We have a lot going on.
We have a huge pile of cedar here for a special project in the backyard. We're experiencing a raccoon invasion right now, and they're using this pipe to get on top of our house. Today, we're going to fix that. We built this window for our foundation. Today, we're going to finish painting it.
Today's program is sponsored by the generous support of our patrons. Your support helps to further our historic preservation efforts. For more information, visit patreon.com/1834 Restoration House.
If you're just joining us for the first time, we've been building a replacement window for our foundation. The original one is rotted, it's literally falling apart. So this is the framework for it, and Jeannie has the actual window. Now this window has 2 coats of linseed oil paint on it, and that's great. There are a few spots that maybe need a 3rd coat, but the only part that will ever be seen by anybody is really just the outside here and maybe this here. Jeannie's going to go ahead and put that in place, and we'll reattach it. Okay, let's go ahead and close the window.
Put it on backwards, didn't I?
You did.
This is gonna work. Cut! Now we've got it on the right direction.
Okay, let's try that again. Beautiful.
Yes.
Okay, now what I'd like to do is flip this up, turn it over, and then clamp it to the table.
Okay.
Actually, maybe we just want to just clamp it over there.
Well, I was thinking maybe clamp it on this back side so that you can hold this open
Okay.
to paint.
All right, so bring it on around. There goes our plastic. Now that it's clamped in place, we can go ahead and open this up, and we can paint the entire thing inside and out. But there's one thing that we must do first, and that's mask off the hinge so we don't get paint on it. This smells exactly like oil paint that artists use, kind of like the paint by number sets. Did you ever do a paint by number set when you were growing up? How did you like it? Was it fun? Let us know in the comments. Well, there it is with its first coat of linseed oil paint. It seems like the sweet spot for this particular paint on that particular type of wood and that particular cheap brush there seems to be 3 coats. Now, using a better brush might cut that down to 2. I'm just not sure. But these are those cheap throwaway brushes. And for this project, which is the foundation window, it's really not that critical, so I don't care. But if I was doing some fine woodwork in the house or fine woodwork on a window inside the house, I would definitely use a better brush. Since we're at the low end of the temperature range for this paint, we're going to let it sit for a couple of days and let it harden up, and then we'll go ahead and put on a second coat, and if necessary, a third coat. And then after that, we'll put the window into the foundation. But this will be the last time you see us painting this window. All winter long, this yard has looked terrible because these oak trees dump tons of leaves. But we had a break in the weather after the cold snap left us, so we spent 2 days raking those leaves out to the street. That's a lot of leaves, guys. Those of you who've been with us for a long time remember the squirrel wars. The squirrels were literally running up and down the wires, getting in the house, creating all kinds of havoc. Well, we finally got them out of the house. We got it sealed up. We got rid of the overhead power line that went to the house, which is how they were getting in. But the last thing that we had a problem with was this line right here. They had actually chewed through the neutral. And those of you who know electrical know how bad that is. And let me just say, if you lose your neutral, really bad things happen into your house. The power company came out here a few weeks ago. They took that entire wire over there out and they put a brand new one in. They called it squirrel wire. So I think there's a story behind that, but they did what they had to do, and now we're in great shape. We don't have any more light flickering. We have no more squirrels in the house, and even our neighbors are benefiting from a better power feed.
No sooner did we get rid of those pesky squirrels and another pesky animal shows up. We have a raccoon climbing up this pipe. You can see how easy it is for the raccoon to get up there. And once it gets up there, it runs all over the whole roof. Now, we have no idea what it's doing up there, but it does it every night in the last few nights. So we need to get that stopped before it figures out how to break into the house.
This is a piece of aluminum roof flashing, and it's great for several things. One, you can use it on your roof to keep rainwater from going in places it shouldn't. Two, it's great for making thunder sound effects. And three, we think it may be a really good raccoon barrier. I'm taking a page out of the heating and cooling playbook here and basically making a duct that goes around this pipe. And I'm pinning it together with screws. And there's no worries about harming this pipe here. This thing is cast iron, it's super thick, and there's no way that these screws can ever harm it. What happens is it has a sharp tip, and it goes through the first layer, and then finally it goes through the second layer. When it grabs the second layer, it pulls it together. So if you look here, you'll see what I mean. There it goes. It just pulls the two together. Okay, that's looking really good. Let's go ahead and roll that around. That way the screws are on the back side. Probably more for cosmetic reasons than anything else at this point. But, you know, it doesn't look bad. And the raccoon certainly can't get a grip on it. Now, there is a possibility that the raccoon is up on the roof right now because they've been known to hide in chimneys during the daytime and come out at night. We don't know if that's the case here. But if it does, it's going to come down like it normally does, and it's going to have to kind of fall to the ground. But he won't be able to get back up there, which is great news for us. And hopefully that solves the raccoon problem.
I was woken up at 1 o'clock in the morning. I could not believe it. It sounded like that raccoon was shredding that metal. We have got to go check on the pipe. That's just crazy. It was so loud. My fear, though, is that he did find a way up. Because I did hear him walking around. Well, he didn't shred it. He didn't shred it. I don't know how he got up, but he did. You can see the marks all over. Well, the raccoon war is on. We've got to find another solution.
Clearly he struggled getting up there last night, so I'm going to make him struggle some more. I am going to lubricate this pipe and see if that keeps him off. If that doesn't work, I've got another idea up my sleeve. I have here a jar of Vaseline, and I'm just going to grab some and just start slathering it on here. Get things nice and slick. Well, hopefully that will get his hands all slippery and he won't be able to climb. Now, old houses will tell you what they need, and they'll let you know loud and clear. And it's best to heed the house's advice if you know what's good for you. So this thing here is a vent stack. It vents sewer gases up and out to the atmosphere. In the old days, for some reason, they like to put these on the outside of houses. So the way to fix this is very simple. We go back inside here and we cut the pipe and we run some modern pipe up inside the wall. Now this area here is the bathroom. And you see right above on the roof here, that butts up against the back wall of the house. That back wall of the house is where the historic part starts. This was all built in the 1960s. So we can just do whatever we want with this and nobody cares. The toilet is approximately right here, and it's the perfect place to tack on and build a vent stack. I've been under the house. This attaches to the sewer pipe. This goes nowhere, and this goes nowhere. So most of this does nothing for us. Once this is done, this pipe can come out, and then we can replace the bricks that are missing here and close up this wall. Here's the view from inside the bathroom. So we have plain old sheetrock walls. Those can be easily cut open and the work done. Same thing with the ceiling up here. Now the problem is that we have wallpaper here. It's modern wallpaper, and it's kind of a plasticky wallpaper. But the thing is, once I cut that wall open, now I've taken that out, and now we have a problem. I've got to patch that wall, but we've got wallpaper here, and we have no wallpaper here. This is how project creep gets started, people. You think, well, gee, I've got to do something. So then you start looking at, well, okay, let's replace the wallpaper. But I don't like this and I don't like that. Next thing you know, you spent thousands of dollars on a bathroom remodel. Let's be careful that that doesn't happen in this case. So I think what we'll probably end up doing is just stripping off all the wallpaper that's in here and probably just go back to a painted surface for now. Sometimes problems lead to opportunities. What we're looking at here is the shower vent, and what they did is when they put this in, they did something really weird. When this was installed, the vent, which should have gone outdoors, either through the wall or through the roof, instead went across the ceiling and then came down into this closet here. It goes down the closet to the floor, and guess where it pops out? Into the crawl space. The last thing you want to do is be dumping hot, moist air into your crawl space. That's not good for your house. So this could be an opportunity to fix that. But that is a project for another day. Jeannie's been asking me for some time to build a garden for her out back, and we've just been too busy, and there's always been other priorities like brick planters and stuff like that. But now things have slowed down. We decided to go do something about it. So we paid a visit to our local sawmill. Now these are the guys that actually cut the wood, right? They take the trees, they cut them into boards, and that's how we like to buy our lumber. So they made us a really good deal on incense cedar. If you've ever smelled a cedar-lined closet or a cedar chest, it has that kind of cedar in it. It's very red, it's got this wonderful aroma, and bugs hate it. So here's a great example of incense cedar. It's got this beautiful reddish purple heart to it. And some of the edges, this is the younger wood here, is white. When this is cleaned up and finished up, it can make some beautiful furniture.
In this next project we're going to do, we've got an amazing deal on this incense cedar. We are going to use these for some garden beds. We put the boards in stacks that are similar in width and length. Now what we want to do is make sure that we have at least two that are very similar for the longest part of each bed. So we're going to separate them all out and make sure we have sets. Each set is going to be one bed, however long they are. We said earlier we got a great deal on this wood. Now you can see why. It's going to be a garden bed, so it really doesn't matter too much. There's some sapwood in here. You can see some of the rot in some of these. And these three piles we set aside. We're going to use those for 4-foot end pieces on each of the beds. These are all set up to be one bed each. And we have 4 other sets over there, and we've got an extra big box that we're going to be able to build out of this. On top of that, we got some extra pieces. Come look at these. Over here, we got enough good pieces. We'll be able to use these for another project. Hopefully some furniture of some kind, maybe. They're beautiful pieces, though.
Man, I wish we had smell-o-vision. The aroma that's coming off the cedar boards is heavenly. Our boxes will be square, and they'll have a 2x3 block that sits at the corners that will run screws into. We just spent a lot of time thinking about this and calculating out how many we need and how long they're going to be. So we've got a formula. I'm going to go over here now and cut them out. These are all of the corner blocks that we'll be needing.
The porch is not level, so don't make it level with the porch. Make it level with the wood.
Okay.
As you can see behind me, we've got 2 of the garden beds built. And this is a great location because the sun goes from east to west in this direction for us. That whole area gets lots of sunlight all day long.